Jairzinho Rozenstruik versus Ciryl Gane just took place in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 20, Rozenstruik versus Gane, and it was just, I mean, I had to just manually lower my heart rate before I even started this video because it was non-stop action. Back and forth, rock'em sock'em robots. Neither guy wanted to take a step backwards whatsoever. They stood in front of each other and traded. No, I'm joking, it was pretty bad. It's 4 a.m. UK time, and I watched that and stayed up for that one at the end of this card, and I'll tell you this as well. It's not like the card was any fun. It was... This might have been the worst card of the year so far, but the main event, let's talk about that. Ciryl Gane, regardless of the entertainment value, is really technically good for a heavyweight. He really picked apart Rozenstruik against a cage. He made Rozenstruik fake about 7 groin shots and about an eye poke as well. He needed a break desperately from Ciryl Gane because Gane was just way better than him on the feet. Way better than him on the feet, and it was very evident that as soon as the first round was over, Gane doesn't actually have to try and win here. He's just going to pick apart Rozenstruik on the feet because Rozenstruik was literally waiting for the same thing every single moment of that fight, and that was his check hook. And Gane just didn't go for the... He just didn't trade hooks with him whatsoever. So he's not going to get hit with a check hook. He just threw the jab, landed the jab, threw the teep to the body. That was a nasty teep to the body. I loved it. Great teep to the body. It's good to see someone utilise that at heavyweight. Stuck the balls of the feet straight into the stomach of Rozenstruik multiple times in that bout. Chopped at the legs with oblique kicks and good leg kicks in general. Landed some good jabs to the body in the fight. Jabs overall in this fight were the key to success for Rozenstruik in my opinion. And those oblique kicks and the front kicks. Just pushing back Rozenstruik every single second of this fight and not leaving himself in range for that check hook of Rozenstruik to land. Now in the 5th round, Rozenstruik did actually catch him with a hook at one point and a 2, and Gane started to get a little bit overexcited against the cage, wanted to trade a little bit at the end, got caught for it, went back to his normal game plan of just teeping and jabbing and inside leg kicking and oblique kicking his way to a win. And I know that Jon Jones had some critical comments to make during the fight, but that's literally how Jones fought every one of his last few opponents, is jabbing and oblique kicking and teeping and leg kicking the entire way through. So Ciryl Gane is technically very good. He has a very good fight IQ. He did not worry about not pleasing a crowd or an audience. I like that sometimes in a fighter, even though it's not the most fun to watch. It was a great technical battle when it shows that Gane has the fight IQ to really be something in this heavyweight division. I mean, that was a dominant win, 50-45 all across the board, unanimous decision win. And the stats, I feel like, are heavily favouring Rozenstruik here, because he did not land 8 shots in the first round. I'll just call that. Maybe he did. It was not 10-8 on strikes in the first round to Gane, and that's what the stats will have you believe. I genuinely don't think that's true whatsoever. Gane 100% outlanded him in the first. I believe got a takedown at the end of the first as well, which definitely secured him the round, but maybe it was a close first round, who knew? Gane really had a low output in the first compared to the other rounds where he started picking it up with the oblique kicks and the teeps to the stomach and the jabs. But after the first round, it was just like, okay, Rozenstruik's probably lost this one. He's not really doing anything. He doesn't have an answer for Gane. Gane was showing some good grappling skills against the cage, getting good head positioning, landing some knees to the fire, landed great total strikes in the fight, which also are going to add up in general. He landed 128 total strikes to 49 of Rozenstruik. That's 26 extra strikes in the clinch against the cage with knees to the... It wasn't very exciting, in all honesty. But Gane just secured every single round, controlled Rozenstruik, had him faking... Let's talk about that right now, because I don't think any one of those groin shots actually landed. And Rozenstruik complained about him about 6 times. I think that there should be a punishment for faking injuries, because we'd literally just... Herb Dean gave Gane a verbal warning for that. None of those shots landed to the groin. The eye poke didn't even land. He framed on the face with the hand. The eyes had no contact with the fingers of Gane whatsoever. No eye poke was committed. He just framed off the face to land a clean little combination, I believe, in the 3rd round, and Rozenstruik complained about that as well. It was just non-stop complaints from Rozenstruik, and Herb Dean gave Gane a verbal warning purely because of the complaints of Rozenstruik. We have instant replay. If someone complains about something like that and you're not sure as a referee, I think we need to start doing, okay, you guys, stay still. I'm going to look at the instant replay. If you're lying, you're fucking getting punished for this shit, because you're getting time out. Rozenstruik got a lot of time out of that fight purely from complaining about groin shots, eye pokes that didn't exist. That knee against a cage to the body that Gane threw, that landed straight to the stomach, and Rozenstruik called it a low blow, and they separated things and started it back up in the center of the cage when Gane had him against the cage and looked like he might have been actually picking up the pace a little bit. It just could never really pick up and get into that sort of slugfest because Gane was one too technical and didn't want to get into a slugfest. But also every single time Gane started to get some momentum, Rozenstruik would just fake a groin shot and then get a little bit of a reset, and then we'd be straight back to Rozenstruik looking for check hooks while getting jabbed in the face over and over again. And Gane just did not want to hook with Rozenstruik. Knew that he wanted to hook with him, land the uppercuts, land the hooks, try and land those haymakers in the guard or in close range. And Gane just said, you know what? How about I throw no hooks at you, so I'll beat you at the range game with my straight shots. And that's exactly what Gane did. He cracked Rozenstruik at one point, I believe in the second round, with a clean 2 on the chin that looked like it actually rocked Rozenstruik at one point, even in the fourth round as well. One of the more dominant rounds stat-wise, 29-10 on significant strikes for Gane. Looked like he had Rozenstruik hit with some stuff. I think he landed a head kick at one point, which was looking really good. It was just a very patient fight, and I know that a lot of fight fans are going to be kind of angry about that, but I'll tell you this, man. It's been a while since I've seen an actual technically good fighter at heavyweight, and I really don't care if it was boring. I don't. It's been so long since I've seen a heavyweight front kick to the body. Front kick into the body. A heavyweight teeping to the body. A heavyweight landing inside leg kicks, like oblique kicks at heavyweight. Like, it's just a good style to see, and I think it shows that there's like a great wave of talent coming through at heavyweight, and things are only going to get better from here. We've got guys like Tom Aspinall, Romanov's fighting Juan Espino next. The winner of that one's going to get a jump up. They're pretty technical. I think I like the new wave of heavyweights that we're getting recently, and Ciryl Gane just led the way at the top of the division, secured a good win over Jairzinho Rozenstruik, but at least Rozenstruik didn't take any damage. He'll probably be right back in there. I would like to see right now, I know that Derek Lewis called out Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I know he called out Overeem, sorry. Derek Lewis said he wants to clap them cheeks. I'd like to see Rozenstruik and Overeem go at it one more time. I think that was a close fight the first time. Overeem can win that fight. It's controversial, so it's kind of an excuse to say this is why we're giving Overeem another fight and not letting him retire. He wants to fight one more time. Let's run back a controversial fight where it was stopped a little bit early at the end and Overeem was winning the fight overall. I say let's rematch him and Rozenstruik next in about 4 months, maybe in the middle of the year in July, International Fight Week, on the main card of the pay-per-view or the headliner of the prelims, or a main event of a fight night, most likely. Knowing the sport, every single time there's a heavyweight bout inside the top 10, it seems to be the main event of a fight night. But still, Ciryl Gane, I think he's earned his fight with Derek Lewis. Let's make the fight. I know that he didn't wow anyone, and he didn't put himself out there as a huge name in the heavyweight division, but he's really technically really good, and he will probably make a really boring 5-round decision out of a Derek Lewis fight, and I'd actually pick him to win a Derek Lewis fight by a decision, most likely, knowing that this is how he reacts to a guy who he knows has really good knockout power, just doesn't engage in the hooks whatsoever and plays the range game well. Great fight IQ. I'd pick him to win a decision against Derek Lewis, but then again, every single time I pick against Derek Lewis, when it makes sense, he somehow one-punch KOs someone from behind, so, you know, maybe he'll do the same thing to Gane. I think they should make that fight next, however. Keep the momentum going. Gane took literally no damage. Lewis took a little bit of damage against Blades, but he didn't get beat up or anything like that too badly like he did in the Volkov fight or some of the other losses that he's had. So I think they should probably do Gane versus Derek Lewis in July. Put that one on the main card of the McGregor versus Poirier trilogy card in July. International Fight Week. McGregor versus Poirier trilogy. Gane versus Derek Lewis as the feature fight or the fourth fight on the main card. Who knows? They'll probably make it a co-main event because it's a McGregor card and they're not allowed to stack those ones well because they just trash McGregor cards in terms of how stacked it is, but still, I say they should do that one. Derek Lewis, Ciryl Gane. If Lewis wins, he's going to be bigger than ever on a McGregor card, undercard. Same thing that happened at 229 where he got a ton of popularity. And if Gane wins, he's going to earn a bit of a fan base as well. But overall, just Gane's way better at striking than Rozenstruik. I thought that to start. I thought he was going to get a finish in the second round by submission. Oh, let me talk about that. I thought he was going to get a second round finish by submission against Rozenstruik. He almost got one. I called a second round submission. He had a rear naked choke locked in at one point in the second round, but Rozenstruik sort of just fucking spasmed his way out of it in fear, basically. It wasn't even a technical get out for Rozenstruik. He just knew, oh shit, this guy's got my neck. I'm just going to fucking spasm my way out of this. And somehow he got out of the rear naked choke. I thought it was a little bit in. But however, good job by Rozenstruik not to get finished for 5 rounds. It looked like that was a little bit of his game plan. You know what? It looked like a little bit of a Woodley at heavyweight, in all honesty. And Ciryl Gane was just Colby, but without the takedowns and top control and dominance there. Great performance by both guys. Gane is a better striker by far. Knew this coming in. The Weasel picked Rozenstruik to win. Ha 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 ha. How funny it is. The Guru's back in action. Winning main events. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is what I'm fucking talking about, okay? Logic prevails. Logic prevailed today. If Rozenstruik won, it would make no sense. And I felt that way the entire way through. And that's the only reason I kept watching with intent. Okay? I watched with intensity of that fight because I knew at any moment Rozenstruik can land a big shot, crack Ciryl Gane, and eventually do some damage. But even when he landed the big shot in the 5th round, it looked like Gane had been hit with a big shot and sort of stumbled a little bit in the 5th round. Rozenstruik just sort of stayed where he was. Don't worry, Gane. I know I just hit you with a massive big blow at the end of a 5th round where I'm losing all 4 of these rounds so far. But I'm just going to stand here while you just get back to work and I'll be against the cage. See you there. You know what I mean? It was like, as much as I picked Gane to win, I can recognise when Rozenstruik kind of just shelled up like a bitch against the cage. And, I just called him a bitch. I'm sorry. He's a heavyweight. He'd fuck me up. I understand. I'm just a guy on the outside. I've never been on the cage. But if I had to describe the way that Rozenstruik fought, it would be like a bitch. Didn't want to get KO'd more than wanted to win, in my opinion. That's just my honest opinion. I think he just didn't want to get finished by Gane and made that his full priority rather than going out there and winning. Because, and also, I'll say this as well, because I know it wasn't most action-packed, but again, I'll give Rozenstruik a break, actually. I won't be so mean to him, because when you think about it, Ciryl Gane landed 102 significant strikes. 45% of those were to the legs. If you round that down to 100 significant strikes, that's 45 of those to the leg. You know what I mean? So, 22% of those to the body. And I know it doesn't look like a powerful shot because Gane is so dainty with the way he throws techniques. But it's still like a 260-pound massive Gane. 6'5", actually probably cuts to heavyweight, in all honesty, the size of him in that cage. They're still massive shots from a massive man. And they probably hurt way more than it looks on TV. All of those shots accumulating on his legs and his body. So I can imagine that Rozenstruik was in a lot of pain with those legs and body shots that Gane was landing. So I'm going to give him a little bit of slack. But it just seemed to me like he was content with losing so long as he didn't get beat up too badly. And that's not a good sign for Rozenstruik moving forward. But he showed some decent takedown defense. Gane couldn't get them immediately, like I expected. But he did end up getting some takedowns. Actually, at one point in the second, to set up the submission of the rear naked choke that he almost had, by the way. He ended up just throwing Rozenstruik to the ground, pretty much. Just body lock, just fucking get on the floor, bitch. That's basically what it was. It wasn't even a takedown. It was just, I'm going to throw you over here, you dog toy. Thank you for watching the video. I picked Gane to win. I thought he was going to finish it. Did not see this coming. But that's okay. It's fucking 4:30 AM. See you later, guys. Like and subscribe. Gane wins. Do him versus Lewis. Rozenstruik lost, so do him versus Overeem. I think it makes the most sense. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Like and subscribe. Goodbye.